Hey Scott, how are you?
Good, Mike. How are you?
Good, good. You have a good week?
Yes, it's been nonstop. Nonstop tech news, nonstop space news. I'll take it any day.
Where were you at today?
Today, talking Artemis. As you and I speak, it is Thursday night, and a little less than 24 hours um, until splashdown. So by the time people hear this, hopefully we will have a smooth end to an amazing mission.
Yeah, they're coming in at what, 23,000 miles an hour?
Yeah. And that heat shield that they're depending on was developed here near where we sit at the NASA Ames Research Center in Mountain View.
Oh, yeah, my dad spent 20 years working at Ames, so
There you go.
you realize that's where the personal computer came from. That
Yes.
that they had a timeshare system set up in the lobby, and Steve Wozniak used to sit there and dream and use it and dream about having his own computer at home. And that's where it all began.
Yeah, they have a building there that had been turned into a McDonald's after being like a space tracker systems research center. And it's awesome to think that, okay, where the fries come out is actually where they had a, laser detector. It's just an amazing place, both
It is.
present and history.
Yeah, I interned there in high school, so in the planetology department.
That's amazing. I love it.
So, um, first bit of news, it kind of broke today, maybe a little bit yesterday. The New York Times initially reported it, but a startup company called Umi reviewed 4,326 Google search results generated by Google's second generation Gemini 2 model AI, and it found that the model was accurate 85% of the time. Now, that doesn't seem real good, but then you consider that Google expects to handle more than 5 trillion research searchers in 2026 alone. That means that it's spitting out fake news at a rate of hundreds of thousands of mistakes every minute, with the users left none the wiser. And they took a look at Gemini 3, and it was only accurate 91% of the time. So, I mean, that suggests that you really can't trust your AI results. I mean, two times out of five, one time out of five, it's wrong. It's giving you fake information, and it's mostly it misstates details because of the sources, and it also is going to very unusual and unreliable sources to gather up the data. So, what does that suggest to you? I mean, to me, it's scary. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I mean, Google AI is doing the same thing that Google search did 20 years ago, which is eat up all of the media advertising. Because you go on Google and then you hit that little AI thing on the top, and you go to the source, and you're taking Google's advertising and not anybody else's, and that's what wrecked the print industry, the magazine industry, 25 years ago, and now it's uh, it's doing the same thing all over again. It looks like.
Well, I mean, AI is only as powerful and effective and efficient and accurate as the information it can snag from whatever sources it's snagging information from. You have Gemini, you have OpenAI, ChatGPT, you've got Claude from Anthropic, Meta earlier this week just rolling out its own AI. This is what it spent hundreds of billions of dollars on between all the infrastructure, not to mention all those big bonuses. And what do they all do that's different from one another? Not all that much.
Not
So
all that
far,
much.
the taste tests that I've seen have shown that they're all fairly similar. Some people prefer Gemini, others prefer Claude. Some will jump into the Meta version. Meta certainly has outlets to really spread this far and wide between Instagram and WhatsApp and Facebook itself. But nobody has said, you know what's 100% accurate? AI. Nobody has ever said that. And that's part of the problem. Certainly search wasn't, but search at least gave you ways to sort of research and look into things. AI wants you to be happy with the result. Here is the result to run with. And as people have found out time and time again, day after day, it's not always right. Full stop.
Well, and it's pulling in facts from the internet. And if there's one thing we've been taught is that the internet cannot be trusted.
Right, because it's not just pulling in facts from the internet, it's pulling in falsehoods from the internet.
Yeah, and then it's missing things like a classic example. It said there's no record of Yo-Yo Ma being inducted into the Classical Music Hall of Fame. Okay, he was inducted in 2007, and they couldn't find that information. It
Which is probably somewhere on the internet if you looked hard enough.
Yeah, but apparently it didn't look hard enough. It went for the quick answer and it went to the wrong places. Also,
Right.
the fact that, let's see, here's another one. Bob Marley's home was converted into a museum, but Google AI misstated the year because it went to someplace else that was inaccurate. So I don't know. I don't know what to say to people, but this is empirical information that you can't trust AI. And people are asking the question, if you had an employee that was hallucinating 19% of the time and spewing out wrong facts and wrong information and it got wrong gossip and all that, would you trust it or would you fire that employee? And yet we're depending upon AI more and more.
But we shouldn't yet. It's not ready to be depended upon, I should say. And so we should know, because it has proven over and over again, that it is getting both facts from the internet and misinformation from the internet and spitting it out. And most of the time it's right, but is most of the time good enough? Not if you're NASA about to re-enter the Earth's atmosphere. It's not. Not if you're about to perform complicated surgery. It's not. And so AI can't be counted on yet. Again, full stop. But I get why people are excited about it. But if you expect something from the internet to give you 100% or even 95% accuracy, you just can't trust one of these AI engines just yet.
Moreover, the Times found using this firm that you can't even trust the sources they reference. When you ask a question, here's a source. Gemini has that. If you backtrack the source, it's not the right source. So you can't even do like Wikipedia, where they have the information and where the footnotes and all that, and you can go back. In fact, that's what they tell college kids: don't trust Wikipedia, except you can trust the footnotes. But let's see, what are the numbers here? It's mind-boggling. 37% of the information on Gemini 2 could not be backed up. Google couldn't provide a backup for that information. And for Gemini 3, it's 51%. So half of all the material information answers you're getting on Gemini 3, brand new, you can't figure out where it came from.
Right. It's not sourcing its work. It's not showing its work. It wants to please you. We've known this for a long, long time, actually. And this is not new. And
yeah, but
many of us have been.
But I think we have Moore's Law in the back of our minds that over the last 5 years, AI must have gotten better.
Yes, it's gotten better. I mean, it's sort of like, look at Google Translate, let's say. Google Translate, the more you use it, the better it gets, the more accurate it gets. But people who are native speakers of a language look at Google Translate and say, that's pretty good, but it's not near 100%. Don't count on it to be 100%. And that's something that has been using AI to develop and improve gradually for years, which is impressive. It's a great tool, but it's not perfect. And nothing in AI yet is perfect.
Well, and it can be lethal. I mean,
Sure.
we've seen reports that, they tell kids to put glue on the pizza sauce and that sort of thing. Uh, I'm not too concerned if AI gives me Gemini gives me the wrong date for an event or something, because that's fairly harmless. And I have editors to correct that stuff. But when it's giving me false information from false sources, that's a double negative. I can't find my way back on that.
Well, but that's the thing. You shouldn't be counting on it if you know where AI gets its information, the entire internet. And so you should know that that is populated by both truisms and falsehoods. And that's where it's getting its information. So you really can't count on it for only truisms because it is out there snagging false information as well.
Yeah, and in addition, there's something corrupt about all of this. I mean, Anthropic, which is the hottest company around in AI right now. There I got contacted a couple months ago. We took all this information from your books, and now they're going to pay me back a sizable amount of money because they took information without permission from me or the publishers from 9 different books. And you got to wonder how many thousands of individuals did they rip off until they were caught?
Yeah, this is similar. And you and I have talked about this, how in the early days of YouTube, remember, everything was just going up on YouTube. And then
Yeah.
people started to realize, hey, that's my protected IP. And we're going to get money from that or take it down. And there was this rush to take things down and to try to sue. I think AI has been, over the last 5 years, a very similar Wild West mentality. And the companies like Reddit, for example, that pre IPO worked out deals to sell its information and sell its content are the ones that were smart because AI was just hoovering everything up. These companies were just taking everything. And so if they had to pay off the top, the companies like Reddit made out well. But the rest of humanity can't cut a deal with Anthropic necessarily. So all of the information and all of the data we've put out there is potentially there and going to be taken without any compensation. Yes, that's illegal, but how do you get paid? This is a problem that has to be figured out. And I think there have been lawyers and entire companies that have been trying to figure this out for years. But we've already moved on to another issue of AI. We've moved past the accuracy, and now you're talking about something that is different, which is the fact that they just rip everything off.
Yeah, well, people are beginning to question where Google got all of it, hoovered up all of its information.
Sure. Same
Yeah.
internet.
So, I mean, do we need class action suits? Do we need the government to, get recompense for all of us for giving up our information involuntarily?
I don't think we've been giving it up entirely involuntarily. It's one thing for someone to steal from your book, but if we put data out there, and this is how Facebook was able to sell it to advertisers, we are kind of giving it up. And it's not to be sold necessarily. And there are legal issues that are going to last for years as we try to figure this new world out. I mean, it's not even all that new. But one thing I've been surprised that we haven't seen is some sort of a privacy act, something that lets us as individuals keep our data
Yeah,
or
an
monetize it.
ownership
Exactly.
act that you own your information and
Right.
you can
Look,
sell it. You can put it through a agent or anything else, but you ultimately own that information.
sure. I mean, if someone walks up to you on the street and says, wow, Michael, I'd love you to model for our company. We want your handsome face up on a billboard. They couldn't do it without coming to some sort of a deal because
Yeah.
you own your image. Same thing should happen with data. Wow, you've written books, or whoa, you've written articles, or wow, you did something funny on the internet. We can't use it until we cut a deal with you. And that's what would happen if you own your data. And so far, people don't.
Have you seen any indication that Congress might do something about this?
No, I mean, I think for now, the tech companies are too big and too powerful and frankly too lazy. and they like making money easily too much. But there's something that's ripe out there for some sort of a data privacy act or a data ownership act. And we've been talking about this for years, and it's never really come around. And I don't know what will finally be the straw that breaks the camel's back where people start demanding it, but so far they haven't.
Well, it's probably going to be the same thing with everything else. Someone's going to have to get hurt.
I
There's going
don't
to have to
know.
be there's going to have to be some victims of this, and then we get the class action suit, and then Congress says something must be done, and we finally get that.
Perhaps.
Perhaps. I don't hold out much hope. Okay, Oracle has just announced it's axing more than 700 workers, and that's just the beginning. Apparently, it's the first wave of what's being called a bloodbath that could end up with the termination of 30,000 employees. Now, I assume that's an impact of AI
It's
because
partially an impact.
Oracle's not doing that bad.
No, it grew a lot, like many software companies during the pandemic, and it may have grown too fast. Also, yeah, some of these agents are doing the jobs of humans, and Oracle is one of those companies benefiting from it, but also trying to please Wall Street, which has gotten a little skeptical lately about all the money that it's spending for AI. And it has to cut its bottom line if it's going to please investors.
Uh, Palantir has his Shaiman Sankar announced that AI could strip away corporate bureaucracy. He's saying AI can be a good thing, that it will strip away all the corporate bureaucracy, the middle management that grew across the 20th century and into the 21st, and it'll return power back to the worker. It can reverse a century-long, quote, managerial revolution that shifted power away from frontline workers. You buy that?
Well, I mean, look, you know, is anybody in the working world going to say, you know, what we need more of is middle management?
Yeah, more bureaucrats.
Right. That said, AI is not human, and AI doesn't form unions. AI doesn't demand breaks. AI doesn't need health benefits. So anyone who says, hey, you know, what can really help a workforce is less of that, I'm skeptical of, because it's taking away the humanity and it's cutting costs and letting robots do the work. And I say this as someone who's been a consumer for decades. That's frustrating to deal with. Do we as consumers want to deal with more of that? I would argue nobody would say yes.
Well, more of it, but maybe faster.
Well, maybe if it's faster, but it's still, my goodness, just
Yeah,
so frustrating.
I also think that Sankar, has his own agenda. He's going to sell more. He's going to sell more AI, and it also what you said about no unions, I think will appeal greatly to an awful lot of companies. Even if the data they get is inaccurate, if they can get rid of the unions, they will be happy.
Sure. And if they can get rid of having to pay benefits, they'd be happy. If they can get rid of paying salaries, they'd be happy. If they can get rid of, you know, leaving the lights on in the office because humans like light, they can be happy and cut costs. But at what price ultimately down the line? If we consumers don't have jobs, we can't
Right.
buy the products that these companies crank out with AI. We can't invest in the stock that these companies are trying to sell. Ultimately, there has to be a balance where people still have incomes and healthcare in America. And if AI eliminates that, who benefits? A very, very small number of people.
Yeah, but if you're a CEO of a large company and you're operating on the, re- quarterly financial reporting, cutting back people, to the bone is a real appealing strategy because you
Sure, for the
probably won't
short
be
term.
around. You won't be around to see the repercussions. You may live the repercussions in your personal life, but the company's going to look real good for a while.
For a little while. But meanwhile, you've eliminated a whole lot of management. And yeah, so you get what you want, but Where's the creativity? Where's the teamwork? Where's the humanity? Um,
Oh, there's no humanity in that.
yeah. So,
Okay, Amazon. It its CEO Andy Jassy announced that in one of the hardest decisions to make, Amazon's going to disrupt itself. It's going to rebuild customer shopping experience around AI from the ground up. And he said, sometimes you just need to go back to the starting line. How do you think that's going to work? I mean, Amazon's a very efficient company right now. Do you think it can actually change its customer interface and the relationship between of the customer shopping experience by disrupting everything?
I mean, that's a good question with that example with Amazon, because a lot of people really like Amazon and how convenient it is to find things and to get things delivered. And rarely will someone say they had a really nice human experience with Amazon, right? They like Amazon because it's fast and efficient and you can get what you want quickly.
The only
So
human
to say,
experience I have with Amazon is saying hi to the driver.
right, there you go. And I don't think that driver will go away. I mean, some of those vans may become autonomous at some point in the future, but not for a while. So Amazon is one of those companies that if it uses AI somehow, maybe there will be some humans that lose their jobs, and that's bad, at least where I stand. But will the customer notice? I don't know.
It seems to me that with all these automated factories they have, most of the employees who are going to lose their jobs have already lost their jobs.
Well, robots have really taken over a lot of the jobs in the factories. Yes, I've been in those factories, and even the human jobs are kind of dehumanizing. And if there is a place for robots, it's in an Amazon factory. That
Yeah.
said, yeah, some humans have lost their jobs, and at every step of the way, the more robotics there are, the fewer humans are needed. But when you ask about the customer experience, the customer at Amazon doesn't see those people or really interact with those people. It's interacting with the screen.
Yeah. And robots don't have to pee in Coke bottles because they don't get a break.
Right.
They can work 24/7. Though, I'm of two minds about this because so many companies die because they can't get past the status quo. That they've been doing this forever and they're going to keep doing it forever because they have that momentum and they don't want change. And here's one where a company's saying, "No, we're going to change everything." And part of me says, "Good for you, Amazon. If you can make it better, the experience is going to be better for me." But I also think you can screw this up really bad and lose ground. And then the customer experience gets worse for us and we have to find another Amazon.
Right. And if AI makes the customer experience worse, customers will go elsewhere, no doubt. But AI is the kind of thing that will probably make for faster online sales, I imagine.
Okay, and finally, we're on AI today uh, and also on Anthropic. Do you know about Claude Mythos?
Heard about it, yes.
Yeah, it's a new advanced version of Claude, which is already the most advanced version out there, or at least today it is. Claude Mythos seems to terrify observers. It sparks fear of an AI doomsday if released to the public. Exactly how it does that, I think its search is so good that it can actually empower terrorists and this country's enemies and create weapons, quote, weapons we can't even envision. That sounds optimistic, doesn't it?
No, but that sounds like what happens when people create AI and then realize what AI can do after
Yeah,
they've
that is
created it.
it's the Frankenstein principle.
Exactly. Well said.
So, do you know what it does? What
No,
Claude Mythos
it's some
does?
advanced no, some advanced version of Claude, and people are saying, "Oh, it's so advanced it can." Our enemies are using AI. Terrorists are using AI. It that cat is way out of the bag already. For people to
Yeah,
say, "Hey,
I mean,
AI
we've
might be
heard this for
dangerous,"
10 years, but
right, right,
this is a whole new level of fear. I suspect, and
sure.
maybe it'll make you a YouTube video about building an atomic bomb or something. I don't quite know what it means, but people seem scared out there.
Yes, they're also lining up for these companies to go public. So
Oh yes,
greed
oh
is in there as
yes,
well as fear. Yeah.
yeah. Uh, all right, that's it for today, Scott. Uh, Go out there and do a big story, and we'll check in next week. And everybody at home, you can see Scott on NBC Bay Area, of course, and on Facebook and X, and you can hear me now regularly on the BBC radio. So have a great weekend, and we'll talk soon. Bye bye.